Hey, good afternoon, early evening, beautiful souls. Everybody's having a good life. Hope everybody's having a good life. I left off the hope. I make these videos. I don't know how to edit, so how it is how it is. So a lot of times I make these videos, I don't even save them. Just didn't turn out right. Just getting off work, July the 2nd, 6:30 in the evening. Hot weather. We've been having some really hot weather. Right now it's not as hot as it was. It's only 86, which is not bad. It's been in the upper 90s. Man, last night we had a really good storm. Wow, what a beautiful, powerful storm. I love those powerful storms. Love them to death. So much energy and so much power. It's incredible. I don't know. Maybe you can see the sky. We've been having some good skies. I don't know if you saw anything, but yeah, a lot of wonderfulness, beauty into the world. I noticed that when I started to open up my soul, my heart, becoming who I am, who I really am, not some fake version of me, taught version that I shouldn't cry, I shouldn't be emotional, I shouldn't, talk about birds and the bees and flowers and the trees and how beautiful the sky is, the sun and the moon. That taught version, when you shake off that fake version of yourself and become who you really are, because we were born to love and we're taught to hate. That's who we are, naturally are. It's love, right? The inner light, the inner eye, not this dome, this chatterbox in our head that tells us, hey, worry about this, and hey, do you hear what this person said about you? And this is what this thing is saying up here, and it's lying to you. It's just something that's popping into your head, and it's so crazy. Like, people are controlled by this lying. This thing lies. It's a liar. This maze of intervals and curves and sidetracks and whatever else that's in there. It's a lie. As far as the thinking aspect of it goes, it's a lie. And a lot of people are being controlled by this, and it's beat into you when you're young. Bow, beat it in you. Don't cry. It's not tough to cry. Like, you're taught this. You grow. And I don't want to make anybody feel guilty or feel bad for me or whatever. I'm going to mention some things. My dad, growing up, he was a major drug addict. He was a major alcoholic. And he'd done these things to help cope with a war that he experienced, Vietnam. And he's seen the worst that a war can do to a body daily. And most people can't cope with that. So he did everything he can to escape that, getting drunk, doing drugs, whatever he could to do that, to get away from that. And my dad got into a business, and it paid pretty good. And one thing they did was drug test. Dad wasn't an unhealthy person. He didn't have his problems to where he would go to the doctor all the time to get a prescription drug. Dad was a pretty strong man, physically. Mentally, he was weak. But he turned to these drugs. So the business he was in, he got into, they drug tested. So he had to be careful. So he didn't do drugs as often as he needed. And I hate to use it like that, but when the demons are knocking on your door, the first thing you want to do is drink, which is legal. But when you've been drinking all the time, you get used to it. You get immune to it. It doesn't cause the same effects as it used to. If you smoke a lot of weed, and I don't know by any experiences, but if you smoke a lot of weed, you become immune to it. You're chasing your high now. You want to get a better strand and a better strand and a better strand, and you're not. Sometimes you may get a better strand and you get high from it, and the next strand may not be as good as that last strand. So you don't understand what I'm saying. It's the same with somebody who's got an addictive personality. I was a big pot smoker, and I only did that. I didn't have an addictive personality. It didn't make me chase my highs. I didn't want to get drunk. I didn't want to smoke crack or snort cocaine, or I had experiences growing up, of course, just like everybody, but I never cared for that stuff. It never bothered. It never did anything for me. Pot was the only thing that really did anything for me. I liked the way it made me feel, and that was all I did. But a lot of people, they have addictive personalities, and if alcohol's not good enough, they'll go to crack, or heroin, or something like that. It's a very similar feeling. Heroin and alcohol have similar feelings, emotions, I guess. So he had to do other things. He would go to the doctors and complain about this, complain about that, and he would try to get prescription drugs, be prescribed to pain medicines, under the counter type stuff to escape. And sometimes he just couldn't find that high. He couldn't get it. And when he couldn't get it, he was a different person. And I remember growing up wasn't so bad at first, from what I can remember. But things got worse when I got a little older, maybe 8 or 9. I remember an incident where my dad got very angry with me and tried to kill me. Had his hand around my throat. He had me on the ground and reared back to hit me in the face. And I'm saying, my dad was a strong man, and could have easily killed me, if he wanted to. And he was stopped by my mom, and I'm not sad about this. It doesn't affect me, and I don't want anybody to feel bad for me, and don't feel any type of negative way. I'm over it, and I've moved on, and Dad's passed. He paid for his sins. It's all good. I don't have any feelings about it whatsoever. If anything, I feel bad for my dad, for ever having to get to that scenario in his life, or that situation. I can't imagine what it was like, but I gained fear in my dad. After that moment, I was scared of my dad for as long as I can remember, even into my late teens, early 20s. I was still scared of my dad. If I'm an empath, and who I am, it's always who I am. I don't want confrontation. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to argue. I didn't want to fist fight or get physical. I didn't want to hurt anybody. That was the thing. I didn't want to hurt nobody. That's why I never got into situations like that. So I was scared of Dad. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. The situation was very scary to me, emotionally and physically. Well, emotionally mostly. But I learned that. Dad taught me to be fearful of him. Instead of respecting him, I feared him. Completely different. It was trained. I was trained to be that way for as long as I can remember. And that was a program. It was beat into me, and literally. And this is where most people are at now, but not necessarily with getting abused or beat up or whatever. But there are a lot of people that are acting a certain way, or trying to be a certain way, but not other than who they are. And this is what I've done is I've created an authentic being of love, forgiveness, kind, and I was going somewhere with this. I can't remember. I got off track, way off track. I'll try to work myself back there if I can, and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I have got child custody here in tomorrow. Been asking full custody, or requesting for full custody, or half custody. I'm trying for full custody. I don't think it's very hard for a man to get full custody of a child. It's the son. And of course, if you're asking for full custody, there's a reason. And if I'm asking for full custody, then there's a reason why. Because I don't want to hurt nobody. Even though my ex treated me really bad, you know, saying one of the worst punishments I ever had to deal with a human was from my ex. She was a terrible narcissist. But even though I was treated so badly, I never hated her, because that's not who I am. In order to hate somebody, you must become hate yourself. And that's not who I am. I'm not going to punish myself. That's what you're doing, is ultimately punishing yourself. If you get yourself in a negative mindset like that, it's just damaging you. My stepson was upset the other day. Something didn't go the way he wanted it to. Everybody in the car or in the area or around him was perfectly fine. Nobody was upset or anything but him. And I had to remind him that you are just punishing yourself. If you're feeling bad over something that you can't control, all you're doing is punishing yourself. So I've got this hearing, and you know, I won't, even though my ex was so bad and treated me so badly, I want to do something. I want to, there's, how do I say this? I'm trying to make it easier on everybody. You know what I'm saying? Even though this is for my son, I don't want to take him away from his mom, because I don't want his mom to feel bad, right? Even though she treated me so badly, and more than likely she probably deserves it. I can't do that. I don't. It's like I'm looking for what's best for everybody. Even though what's best is for my son, taking my son away from his mom could potentially hurt her. And that's not what I want, but I want what's best for my son. And I'm not going to get into details of why I am requesting full custody. And it's nothing inappropriate. Well, there are some red flags, but not to that extent. Allowing him to sleep in the bed with you, and not saying that's what it is, but an example, I would say that's not appropriate, even though they may not be doing anything, and I doubt they are. I don't get that feeling. Like I said, just an example. But anyway, that's inappropriate. Watching him shower, make sure he's doing his job right, that's inappropriate. That's what I mean by inappropriate. He's autistic, he's slow, 14 years old. He's got a low mental capacity and an IQ, and he needs help with a lot of things. And I think we enable sometimes, and we don't. If things are unnecessary, and those things could fall into being inappropriate. If you understand what I'm saying. Hopefully, maybe nobody may not even watch this video. But anyway, I don't want to hurt nobody. I want to do what's right for everybody. So, I've got that going on. I was mentioning that to somebody today, and they seemed very sad. It's funny, and I don't mean this in a negative way as far as funny goes, but it's so obvious. It's like when you talk to somebody and you tell them that somebody just passed that you know of, and the first thing you do is get mournful, sad, and oh, I'm so sorry. This is a natural thing for people to do. Just like if there's a crazy situation, a divorce or separation, everybody always wants, oh, I'm so sorry. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it helps. I don't think it's necessary, right? This person, I mentioned this to this person today, and the terrible look on their face. And I told them it's fine. Like, I had to remind them that I allow God to have it. He's in control. He knows what's best. If you let God have it, I'm not worried about it. I'm not stressed out about it. I haven't put much thought into it. it just, if I put thought into it, then I can get myself stressed out about it or worried. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to punish myself. I don't have any control over it. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. It's all in God's hands. I gave it to my father. Here you go, Father. Father, here you go. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to deal with this. Can you help me out? This is where the laying your burdens on God comes in. So I'm not making, it is what it is. Whatever's best for my son. That's the way I look at it. So I got this going on tomorrow. I've been doing, I wouldn't necessarily say research. I'm gonna get a little off subject here. I wouldn't say research, but I've been diving into, videos sometimes, and I was looking at some photos of myself, because some older photos. Excuse me. And I see, in a lot of my photos, I see a difference in one eye from the other. And if you know what you're looking at, you can see it. When I became my authentic self and cleaned out the closet, I guess, per se, everybody has, that angel or that devil, however you want to look at it, on their shoulder. I guess you know what I'm talking about. What side do you pick? You know what I'm saying? What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Right? So I've been looking at some old photos, and one eye looks like I'm angry, and the other one looks like I'm laughing or I'm smiling. Right? You block the face to just the eye, and one side looks like I'm smiling, the other one looks like I'm angry. And I always wondered what that is. And I know what it is. I often wondered it, and I don't wonder anymore, but I know what it is. And I've had people mention it as well. It's like a combination of the light and the dark, the yin and the yang. I have half masculine and half feminine. This is what happens when you get out of the program. You become love. But I always called myself an empath, and I believe that I've got some empath gifts, empath energy, or whatever. I think I have a lot of energy, different types of energy in me, like Ascended Master, for instance. I've been told this. I don't really do a lot of research, and I contact a lot of gifted and sensitive folks, and they can read people very well, and I've just had people mention this to me. I've heard the word Ascended Master and Prophet. I was meditating one time when I very first began, and I asked God questions, and I asked him who I was. What am I? Because I knew that I started to have some really crazy, wild gifts. I was kind of blown away by it. You know what I'm saying? What is this? Where does this come from? This isn't human. That mailbox was 4414. 144. But anyway, where does this come from? It doesn't come from the human part of me, right? The rotten flesh. So where does it come from? I attached myself to that part of me. That's what I became, spirit instead of flesh. I became more spirit than flesh. And that part of me was gifted. And hold on, I got off track again. I apologize. I'm talking about the dark and the light, and the yin and the yang. And the empath, yeah. So, I always claimed, or not claimed it, but I've always labeled myself as this just because this is what I heard. You know what I'm saying? And it made sense, I guess, when I researched. But there was other things, other attachments as well. Where's this dark side? What is that? Oh, yeah. So I was meditating. And I asked God who and what I am. And I got some images. And it was like these 4 pillars. They were glowing. And it was very strange. They looked almost like totem poles. And I had a friend of mine. And at the time, I wasn't as educated with the Bible. Even though I was reading it, I just haven't got into it enough. I haven't read it enough to become biblically sound, you know. And he knew exactly what it was. He mentioned the word cherubim. Never heard of it. Didn't know anything about it. And if anybody doesn't know what a cherubim is, cherubim are angels. God assigned cherubim outside of the Garden of Eden to guard the garden. He assigned cherubim to guard the Ark of the Covenant. These were cherubims. But in cherubim, the second ranking highest angels, and I don't mean that not to say like I'm bragging, but it's very strange as I'm looking at myself and I'm seeing this dark. Where does this come from? Where does this darkness come from? I'm a loving person. That's who I am. By nature. But where's this dark side? Where's this coming from? It's very noticeable, and I see a lot of people. I can see this with other people, but it's this I don't see with people. I don't see it often at all. Very seldom have I seen somebody who's laughing or smiling on one side and angry on the other side. It's not common. And typically, this is what I see when I look at people. I actually do this. I look behind one eye and the other to see what they're holding. What is it? The fear, depression, you know, sadness. This is what I see mostly with people. Are these the negative emotions that are attached? Very seldom do I see light souls. Most people I see, they could be smiling in one eye, but they could be really sad in the other. I don't see anger. I don't see seriousness. Very strange. Where is it? What is it? What I think, and this has come up in my journey. Since I've been on this journey, this has come up. The Nephilim. And this is something that's popped up a lot without me researching. And the Nephilim are half angels, half demons, and half human. Is what a Nephilim is. Mixed breed of human and demon, or angelic. I feel, and I could mention this to people, and I don't have many people I talk to, and they would probably think I'm completely insane. I only go by what I see and what I feel, and I have to figure out what is it. Where's this coming from? A lot of my gifts, I've been affiliated with removing things from people. And I do it very well, through God, of course. God's light shines bright in me, and it gives me some capabilities. God's inside me, and he gives me capabilities. It's God that is doing it, but he's using me as a vessel, a tool. If I can remove, then I can give, right? If I'm trying to remove a sickness, I can also give a sickness. And I'm not saying this video to be bragging, but this is what this is, right? Angelic gifts, spiritual gifts from the spirit, not the flesh. That's not who I am. I allow myself to attach to the smiling side, not the evil side, not the angry side. But I can see that because it's there. And I've had people question me about the empath, because some of my ways could seem cold. It's easy. And I don't mean that in a mean or a bad way, but it's there. but I attached myself to the good because I believe in karma, and I believe that if I turn it around and be evil and be mean and use my gifts for the wrong, that'll come back to me, right? It's like people messing with chosen ones. If you mess with a chosen one, or you're trying to hurt a chosen one, that will come back to you. You don't mess with God's chosen. You're not supposed to do that, and you will be punished. God's chosen are protected. If things aren't going right in your life, you need to be careful. Maybe I'm messing with a chosen one. Maybe I'm being mean or being rude or whatever, and not even realizing it. You got to be careful. So I see this, and it makes me wonder, where did it come from through this journey that I've been on? What have I attached myself to? Or what's attached itself to me? And I'm always going to be loving. I'm always going to be kind. I'm always going to be forgiving. But that other aspect is there. All I got to do is grab it. It's there. And I can swish it all around. But I'm not going to. I see this, though. And it's there. Knock, 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 knock. Hello? I'm not listening. I love you guys. See if that garage door is opening. Yeah, it's opening. I love you guys. Hope I made sense. Everything's going to go perfectly in this custody hearing, giving it to God. But I love you guys, and Godspeed.